Let's talk about codependence. It's kind of a popular topic these days, and I see it a lot with my clients in different forms. It can be just a little bit codependent. It can be that one relationship is really codependent, or it's a long established codependent pattern of behavior that we work with. So I want to talk about what's going on with codependence today and offer some solutions for you. I'm Stacy Rocklein, and I help people create deep, meaningful relationships through healthy communication. So what's going on with codependence anyway? It's kind of a two-part problem. One part is that the person is over-functioning in someone else's life. And the other part is that they're under-functioning in their own. So the over-functioning part in someone else's life needs its own solution, and the under-functioning part in your own life also needs a solution. What does over-functioning in someone else's life look like? This is when there is an obsessiveness about controlling the other person's behavior. This is when there's overly serving, when they're constantly giving, when they speak for the other person instead of letting the other person speak for themselves, where they decide what's best for the person's life. When it's active, it's a conscious manipulation and it's kind of aggressive. For example, let's say there's a partner who overeats and has put on weight. The codependent who is being really active may come in here and try to control that by insulting them, being aggressive, or by straight up, deciding exactly what they're going to eat. That's a conscious manipulation. Or it might look a little more passive, where they are just going in there and they're doing all of these things. And the passive codependent mentality is that martyr mentality where I do everything in here. I have to do all of this in this relationship. So that's always a good, little indicator. So what the person needs to do is pull back how they are over-functioning in that other person's life, because they're doing that person a disservice in this way. Number one, that person doesn't get to develop confidence in themselves by solving their own problems, right? It doesn't let them figure out look inside themselves, figure out what needs to happen, and then go do it. And that makes you confident, and that's good for your self-esteem. And it also creates a problem when the other person doesn't want it, because it begins to put up this distance between them. The person may decide that, oh good, they're going to do everything. I don't have to do anything. And they don't become self-reliant. So it has all kinds of problems. The number one solution I would suggest is this. Ask permission to help, give feedback, get involved, serve. Start to check with the other person to see if they want that control of their life. Find out if they want you to obsessively check their location on your phone. Find out if they feel like they need you to always be hammering a certain topic in order to move forward. If they do want that support, that is what you can give them if you have the energy for it. And we're going to get to the under-functioning in your life in a minute. The solution there is to ask permission so you start to have a healthy balance of supporting each other and also helping each other feel really good about each person to feel really good about themselves. Now let's go into the under-functioning part. And this is an either-or mentality. Okay, my sister Liz introduced me to this idea. This is an either-or mentality where it's that person has needs and I have needs and only one of us can have our needs met. So I'm going to meet the other person's needs first. And I don't meet my own needs. I always put these ones first. And then I end up under-functioning in my own life. And I want to suggest that you try a new mentality, which is a yes and mentality, also complements my sister, which is I have to say yes to my own needs first. It's not either or, so that doesn't mean putting the other person's needs aside and they're not important. It means a yes and. First mine, and if I have the energy for it, also yours. So that you start to put yourself at a higher priority in your life, which is really good for the relationship too, because no one's caring for you when you're codependent. And the word codependent sounds like both people are like doing something together, but actually codependence can just be behaviors that one person is exhibiting that came from the past in their life or the past of this relationship. So it doesn't necessarily mean the other person's doing unhealthy things. You can look inward and you can create solutions for your own codependence by the part where you're over-functioning in the other person's life. Ask permission if they want that and respond to that with support that you energetically have and a back off if they don't want that. And by helping where you're under-functioning in your own life by taking on a yes and mentality, that you will care for your own needs first and then the other person's. And I'll tell you right now, it can be hard for someone who has a really like sticky codependence to even identify what their own needs are. And you can get help with that with a coach. You can contact me for help with codependence recovery. And another thing that can just be very beneficial is to work with your feelings, because what comes up a lot in codependence is anger and resentment, and that's usually a cover for something more tender, something a little bit harder to identify, and that might be a little frightening to feel. So you can pick up and download the Feel Wheel to help you with that process as you start to identify your own needs and show up for yourself. Okay, I will see you next time.